everybody. It's Dana with CoachDanaInspires.com, and I am excited for business inspiration today. And I am a coach for women entrepreneurs. And what I do is I help those women entrepreneurs and business owners find their value, find their perfect client fit, and they can get together and have a fabulous client experience, and they can help others just like I know you want to. So our guest today is one of those fabulous people who love to help others and help you build your business. And today it is Joyce Feustel, and she is with Boomer's Social Media Tutor. And Joyce, how are you today? How's the family?
Oh, everything's great here in Lakewood, Colorado, suburb of Denver.
I'm so happy. That's great. Now, you talk to a lot of people, a lot of clients, you see people all the time. And what are you feeling? We've been a year now into this COVID business, and a year. What are you hearing? What are you hearing from those people? Are they feeling positive? Are some of them still a little skeptical? What do you feel?
Well, it's been a rough year. And just by way of background, a year ago today, my husband and I got back from a trip to Australia to see my brother and his wife. And then 4 days later, everything shut down. It was
Yeah.
incredible thinking back. At any rate, I think the people who are more in a virtual world anyway, like I am, have been doing really quite well. The marketing people, the people that are in like network marketing that sell healthcare products. Can you imagine the Shackleys and all those folks? They're just making the big bucks. The folks that struggle or have been to some extent struggling are the more geographic people. It could be like a chiropractor, for example, someone who serves people that they have to physically touch them, obviously, and who are in a locale. Also, to some extent, those people are a gym, like a personal trainer. We have people don't have as much disposable income, so they're not able to use certain facilities. The social distancing restricts the numbers, and obviously the restaurants. I mean, there's so much. I'm a member of my local chamber of commerce, and it's been really a rough year for many local businesses and certainly corporate businesses as well. I'm more plugged into the small business side, so I'd say it's all over the map. And yet, bottom line, it's certainly been a tough year.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I think people are, I've been hearing a lot of people, they're much more optimistic than they had been. When we first started this, a couple weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, oh dear. So I don't think anybody at the beginning thought this was going to be a year-long extravaganza. But we're a year into it. I think people know more, vaccines and things like that. So hopefully things will be opening up. So I think, some positive things are coming out of it. And certainly people are connecting more via Zoom. So we can connect across the nation and around the world much more readily and more comfortably. So
well, that's been exactly, Dana, that's been the upside. I think people are much more willing to meet like this, to have a client session like this. If you do coaching like you do, the kind of coaching I do. So all of that is much better. Families have talked to each other on a regular basis. We go on kind of a personal level, siblings and cousins, like my husband's side, his Smith's side, the cousins with big, family, like 20 people on a Zoom call. So there are some blessings.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, we're here talking about social media. You are like the LinkedIn LinkedIn maven, as I think the word I want to use. So, what can we as entrepreneurs, business owners, what should we be doing right now? Is there just one little quick step that you can lead us to? And I've got so much to ask you about.
Okay. Well, I'm going to say, if you don't have a LinkedIn account, start one. Is my daughter listening? My daughter, Jane in Vermont, who's never had one, I got to tease her. She's always been in nonprofits. But most people, I would say, benefit from a LinkedIn account. A, and B, go there. Go there. This isn't like Tinder, you got your guy, right? So you don't have to be on LinkedIn anymore when you got your job. Or you got your business up and going. Oh, I got a profile. Well, it's not the same as a website because you got to interact. So hang out, A, start an account, and B, hang out on it at least once a week.
Okay. And so why should I? Why should I post onto LinkedIn? I mean, do I get value out of that? Does anybody really care when I post? And you clearly post. And how often do you post?
Well, my LinkedIn coach told me to post something or comment on somebody else's comment or post every day. So starting in 21, I had been on LinkedIn Monday through Friday, that every day, business day. And so I want to distinguish between making your own post and commenting on others. Because if you comment on others, that is the biggest gift you can give them. Even better than sharing, believe it or not. A, you're giving that post, you're lifting it up, you're giving it energy, more traction. B, you are putting yourself in front of their people. Just recently, somebody I did a class for yesterday said when she commented on a really high performing post on LinkedIn, all of a sudden, all these people started looking at her profile. Ooh, interesting.
Oh,
right?
okay. That's intriguing.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Yet I'd like to see people at least once a week put up some original thought, something that came out of your own head, not only your point of view, which is important. Like today I put up a post about, ever wonder those people that are like stalking you? I didn't say that in my post, but the people that look at you and you don't know who they are, like, why are they hiding anyway? Well, that's their business. They chose that. So I said, you want to hide? Here's how you do it. Tip, tip, tip. So I gave a little tip. That was my post for this morning.
Excellent. Yeah. And I think people have the, I think, misconception that LinkedIn is only for if you're looking for a job.
Yes.
And the thing is, as entrepreneurs and business people, aren't we continually looking for a job, which means people coming to us wanting to be coached, wanting a keynote, wanting whatever you do in your business. So it really is kind of.
Exactly, Dan. And when people Google your name, your LinkedIn profile comes up pretty high in a search for your name. And no matter how good a shape it's in, seriously, it will come, you will start to come up higher in searches just by name when you do this posting. So again, your whole presence on LinkedIn elevates your presence on any search engine.
Right. Okay. Yeah. And that's great news. Yeah. So, and the more you post, the more things, all this computer background algorithm thing makes me crazy. So what kinds of posts, what are the topics that are most popular on LinkedIn? I mean, I do see LinkedIn is not really the place where I see a lot of kittens and puppies,
Actually, some of those inspiring posts, come think of it, is that you actually, people, I think they're so different there. People kind of like them, like refreshing. So don't discount those little Canva made, type of posts, because they kind of nice break it up, is what my coach had told me. I think when you post trends in your industry, when you help people learn about the field you're in and say, this is a big thing going on. Did you know? So you're pulling people in. Or in a little bit larger company, it'd be more like kind of a behind the scenes, even like videos, things like that. But since a lot of the people who watch your program are small business owners like you and me, I think it's really how-tos and interesting stories, case examples, without, giving away proprietary information or anything. So I think it's that type of thing that people are interested in. And also, kind of, I don't want to say controversial exactly, but where people might have an opinion on something, not political per se, but something in business, some sort, again, the trends kind of thing. I'd say those seem to be pretty popular. And I especially notice when people ask a question or there's a polling feature that another LinkedIn person I saw do just yesterday that I thought was rather clever of her to use.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, because sometimes, I guess sometimes it can be, I think it's kind of a little dry. Sometimes LinkedIn can be a little dry. And me being me, sometimes I need a little yippee. So that's when I go to Facebook, and that's another story for another time. And so how do I get more engagements? I put a post up there. What do I do? How do I get more people?
First off, tag people. Just like on Facebook, you can tag. The functionality of LinkedIn is very similar to Facebook. So for example, if I were to put a post up about our interview that we're doing right now, I would, of course, tag you. on LinkedIn. And thank you so much for the honor of having me as your guest. Oh, and Dana's, you're known. So what does that mean when I tag you? That some, not all, of your followers or your people who are your connections on LinkedIn will see that you and I had this interview. So that is a simple way to do it. I don't like to over tag. When I see people tag like 30 people, I think that's annoying because they're like, really? Why'd you have to pull us all into it? So tag in a logical and meaningful way. Because the problem with LinkedIn, as far as I know, you can't like just remove yourself. You know how on Facebook you can remove the tag?
Right.
I've yet to figure out how to do that on LinkedIn. So if anybody out there knows, let me know. And then the other thing are hashtags. Using the hashtag, with a number sign and a topic is done on LinkedIn. So if you want to be associated with certain kinds of terms, search engine optimization, SEO kinds of phrases, you then could use those. So people looking for posts on that might potentially find you on LinkedIn. So yeah, that's another way to do that. Also, and you can write a comment on your own post. You could tag a couple other people there, maybe. It's just a thought. Like you can do that on Instagram, for example. So people should think about tagging people and using hashtags. I think it helps.
Okay, that's interesting. And I think hashtags seem to be a sort of a mystery, sort of why and how and who's going to find me just because I hashtag somebody. But it does actually work. So I'm down with you on that one. That's absolutely.
And just as a PS to that, Dana, I think I prefer to do maybe 3 to 5 hashtags. I've seen more on a post, but not often. Usually I'd say a handful.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. So what happens when you have a connection or a possible connection, someone who's reaching out to you, wanting to connect, and they start pitching you all their stuff. I want to sell you this, buy my thing. What, for goodness sakes, how do we deal with that? How do we stop them from doing that?
Well, frankly, I've been coming kind of hard ass on those people because they annoy the heck out of me. I will often block them. Someone said, why don't you just ask them? Why don't you just tell them? Maybe they just don't know better. I doubt it. I think it's either them or their bot is just going to say that no matter what you say back to them. That's my opinion, at least. So what I do is I go to, by the way, to block somebody, just like blocking them on Facebook, you have to go to their LinkedIn profile. And if you don't want them to know that you're going in there to block them, which frankly, I don't care because they're dead to me anyways, the way I look at it. But if you want to be hiding, you go to the settings, then you go to visibility and to profile viewing options, and you can go and be in that little kind of incognito under the radar mode when you block them. Now, the value of blocking them is that then they can never ask to connect with you again. You won't even be found by them on LinkedIn. So that's an extreme. Actually, another way to be kind of mean-spirited while you're blocking them is to IDK them. I don't know you. I don't know you. Now, if you do that, though, that is such a black mark on their record. LinkedIn can rip away their whole account. And see, I'm not that mean-spirited, right? I don't want to go after them at that level. I will not.
You just want to stop them from bothering you.
Me personally.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And the thing is, sometimes I'll get offers and things like that. And it's, I could see where this might fit into my wheelhouse. I kind of see where they could see I might be interested. But then other things I get, and I'm thinking, who are you and what planet are you coming from? They haven't have anything to do with this. I've never had a Nigerian prince want money from me on LinkedIn, but one day I'm hoping that'll happen because I just think that's funny. But okay, so blocking people, and I don't know you is really putting them under pressure. So if you really feel like someone's doing something really radically wrong, I don't know you. Okay.
And then you can also report them. I haven't had it happen lately, maybe because I'm 72 now, but a few years ago, I had people, maybe it was just a few years ago, hitting on me on LinkedIn. I mean, really? So I have reported them. When you go to their profile, I should explain how to do that to folks. You go to their profile, there's a little button called More,
Okay.
MORE. You click on the button, and I believe it's the one at the very bottom. It says report/block. So you can block and you can report. So I think people should know that if it's really egregious, it's really bad, then they
Yeah.
should consider
Yeah.
reporting.
Well, and I think so. I mean, this isn't like you said, you mentioned Tinder before. This isn't Tinder. This is a business platform that we should be using for business. And it's one thing to say, "Hey, I love your stuff. I'll take that," but the others we need to leave alone. Yeah, good. Thank you for that information. Very important. Because sometimes I think people get lost with, well, I just ignore him. I just delete. Well, if you go,
No,
all
then
you're
they
doing is
come
deleting.
back to haunt you.
Yeah.
And one final thing, in all the years of blocking people, I've only had it come to bite me in the butt once, where someone was introduced to me and I'm on the Zoom call with her and I'm looking for her on LinkedIn and can't find her. And maybe she's the one that finally said, well, maybe you blocked me. And in fact, I had. Ooh, uh-oh. So how do you unblock them in case you ever change your mind? You have to go. I think I did this just yesterday for a friend. So you go to that same place where you can go hiding under the visibility. It's in that same section under visibility.
Okay.
And that's where
Yeah.
you can see the list of my 349 people that I had blocked. And then I take her off my bad list.
But the thing is, so the question is, and I think this is a valid question. So yeah, now you want to, connect with her, but what was her behavior that made you want to block her to begin with? And maybe she, this is a place where you go, well, maybe she wasn't aware that that was something that was over
No,
the
she
top with
she
her.
was actually getting a lot of success with that approach. She is somebody who does designs classes, online classes for, I forget her exact target market. But the point is, she asked a series of little questions, very friendly questions. And yet I thought they were too personal. Like, why are you asking me all this stuff? I don't really care to reveal this to you. So that's why I blocked her. So she wasn't as bad as some people who will say, oh, I want to get you to a 6-figure income. And I say, heck, I'm married to a guy with a pension. I don't care about a 6-figure income. So you see, that's where right away they've lost me, where they're, most people say, oh, 6 figures, tell me more. So that's what I think. I think it was
Yeah.
just that I just was in a mood that day. So that's, she's going to probably keep using her approach. It's worked for her.
Yeah. And that is good for her, but you need to know, we need to know, each of us, where our tolerance and comfort level
That's the
is.
word.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So, are there any benefits? LinkedIn is, I think I like LinkedIn personally. So what's the benefit between paid LinkedIn and free LinkedIn?
Oh, that's really important. I get that question a lot, actually. When you have even the $30 a month career seeker level of LinkedIn, then you can see who's looked back at you for 90 days, unless, of course, they were in this hiding mode,
Right.
which
Right.
can be very interesting. Maybe it's a past client. Maybe it's some other business friend. You're like, oh, there's Joyce. Oh, I wonder why she was looking at me. So it's kind of a really natural, nice way to reach out to this person. Then if it's a second level person, somebody who you share a connection with, you might be so bold, and I've done this, to write them a LinkedIn connection. Say, I saw you looked at my profile, just wondering what's up. Some way it can be of service to you. I mean, that's an idea. Also, if you're a job seeker, not really our target market here, but you can see if maybe a recruiter looked at you, a hiring authority, all of that. Also, here's the one. If you find yourself searching on LinkedIn quite a bit, that's where it will help, because the more money you pay to LinkedIn, the more searches you can make. Because once in a while, I've had people somewhere toward about the 25th of the month get an email saying, oh, you've almost exceeded your commercial search limit. Like, that's a thing. It is a thing. Yeah.
I had no idea.
Who would have thought? So those are just a couple of things that may show some value to you in having some amount. However, I'd say the vast majority of people do not need to pay anything to LinkedIn.
Okay. If I'm wanting to seek out coaching clients, I want to just go out there. I can still do that if I had a free account.
Oh yeah. Unless
Yeah.
you were searching a lot, then
Right. Right.
it could be a problem.
Yeah.
But if you were
So
just kind of moderately here and there searching, no, you're fine.
right. So the free LinkedIn user can still search, can still get great benefit from LinkedIn. Great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh
But
yeah.
now, so let's say the person who pays, what are they getting? What are they real? I mean, besides,
Well, it
more
depends on
indoor
their
searches.
level, Dana, like that they have. So when you get up to $60 a month, the business owner's level, you're getting to be able to send more in mails. See, where the career seeker, I think they get like 2 in mails. This is where you can message somebody on LinkedIn without being connected to them. So you're
Okay.
getting more of
Okay.
that. And you might be able to get slightly more information about a company. So if you're going to spend money on LinkedIn, I would spend the $80 a month with Sales Navigator, which has got a lot more bells and whistles, and you can get more filters. If you are maybe especially a B2B world or even a smaller business person looking for within corporate, a certain size company, person in that certain position, there are very discrete filters, geographic searches within zip codes. I mean, it gets very granular. So
Wow.
that's where and also when you look somebody up, they'll say, oh, of these 25 connections, this one gives you the best chance of asking to get an introduction, say, to this individual. So it's got a whole other interface that builds
Oh,
off
okay.
of your
Hmm.
LinkedIn,
Yeah.
regular LinkedIn.
Right.
And a
Right.
news feed, you can see what's up with the people you're tracking with. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I know that I've got Sales Navigator, and there's so much going on with it, and it's a real learning curve, but it's very powerful. Yeah, I
That's
know
a
that.
good word. It's a
Yeah,
good word.
very, very powerful. So I see a post on LinkedIn that I really thought was value based. I got benefit from it. I really liked it. So how do I, you know, honestly, and not just like it, like who cares? Everybody, not everybody, but lots of people just scroll by. Oh, that's so and so. Oh, that's so and so. How do I really, in an authentic way, compliment somebody for something that they posted or something that they're doing? I want to be supportive.
I think the best way, first off, is to react. Do like they have that now, like we have on Facebook. So put celebrate, put like the little the light bulb. Oh, great idea. So that alone just gets a little more jazz in a sense to your response. But most important, say something. Make a comment. You could even, again, very judiciously, perhaps bring another person into it, like at sign, oh, Brooke Chestnut, you should see this. I had this happen when I was giving a talk, Dana, at Toastmasters on millennials and LinkedIn. Because if you Google millennials on LinkedIn, they're like, LinkedIn. Why LinkedIn? Because I don't have enough of a profile. Oh, you know what? I put a little post up saying I'm giving this talk in 2 days. Help now, help. And oh my gosh, Dana, somebody would puts a post in about how LinkedIn really helped break down barriers and they could get from to that person, get through gatekeepers. It was amazing. And they say, oh, Susie Q, you should see this. I had so much response to that. It was one of my highest performing posts. So go figure, right? So that's a way you just a comment, bring in someone else, say something kind of pithy, but don't get all salesy. Just add value, bring a point of view like, oh, that was so good, Dana. And there's one more thing I'd like to add to this that I think really builds on what you've said. Yeah. And
Yeah.
one other thing I should have mentioned before about your own post is include an image. Just yesterday, I saw a marketing person say, put your own picture in there. Too often people are like, oh, I don't know. I look terrible in this sweater. I look all right. Who cares? I mean, just put your picture in there because people say, oh my God, there's Joyce. So I think, again, judiciously, not every day, like here I am
Yeah.
again, but
Yeah.
I thought that was a good point. And pictures do generally get more attention.
Right. And I never post unless there's some kind of image. I
Yes,
just, I
exactly.
never post it without an image, because I know when I'm looking and I want to see what's going on. If it's a long, first off, number one, if it's a long wordy post, I really, unless it's somebody I really want to hear from, I don't read it. It could have
Mhm.
been the most meaningful post in the world. I won't read it because it's too long. I just, no. But if there's a picture and it says, hey, this is what's going on, read more or click here to look at my
Mhm.
blog or what's, then yeah, I'll certainly look at that. So yeah, I think we all need to think about those great big long ones. And so this is great. Joyce, I really appreciate your time and your effort. I will say that we could probably talk about LinkedIn for a long time, but 25 minutes, short and fast, great information. You've been fabulous. This has been really good information. And there are, I know there's people out there that they know all about LinkedIn, but I also know there's people out there that are not familiar enough and don't have a lot of money to spend on getting coaching for it. So this has been great. So speaking of coaching, you do coach this LinkedIn, and your website is Boomers, hold on, Boomers Social Media Tutor.com, and I will definitely post that on the recording. So Boomers Social Media Tutor.com. So if you want to get a hold of Joyce, ask her some questions. She's more than happy to, give you some answers and help you out. So Joyce, thank you so much. This has been a blast. Great seeing you.
It's wonderful. Thank you,
Yeah.
Dana, so much.
Thank you. And until next Tuesday at Business Inspiration, we'll see you then. Thanks.